Our first guest this morning. Today she's all grown up and taking on some serious acting roles. But when many of us first met her, she was a fresh-faced kid starring in a Disney Channel movie, High School Musical.
I know that something has changed. Never felt this way. I know if for real this could be the start of something new. It feels so right to be here with you.
Please welcome one of the stars of that show, Vanessa Hudgens. Hello there, how are you?
I'm great.
All right. When you walked into the green room, they said, sorry for this cold weather, but you just got here from Chicago.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so it's kind of warmed up a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even bring a coat, and I'm great.
Thank you so much for coming in today. And in a little bit, we're going to talk about this new role that you're playing in this movie, which is amazing.
Thank you.
But first, kind of want to talk a little bit about how you even got here. You're one of those actors who has the opportunity to kind of bridge the generations because the kids all know you, but the parents know you too because the kids all know you. We have some folks in the audience this morning and some fans. One young lady right there even has the Vanessa Hudgens doll. Look at that.
Gabriella, not Vanessa.
Yeah, well,
Gabriella.
Yeah. But you know you've made it when there's a doll kind of in your likeness there.
Yeah.
So where did you grow up and where did you first get that acting bug?
I got it at a really, really young age. I grew up all over California, and I was in my first play when I was 3 in preschool.
Wow. What was the play? Do you remember?
It was the Nativity Story, and I was Mother Mary carrying baby Jesus singing Away in the Manger.
And that was the moment?
I mean, I don't know if that was the moment. I think that sometimes people are put here to do specific things and you just feel it in your soul. And I've always been a performer and an entertainer, and I've just always loved it ever since I was really young.
You were probably the one putting on plays at 2 years old in your diapers.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I was
entertaining the family
every day for a couple of years.
Yeah. And then being on stage, too, especially in plays, because you did several things. Evita, Carousel, The Wizard of Oz, The King and I, Cinderella, all the classics. Stage is really amazing because you get that immediate kind of feedback from the audience.
Stage is everything. I've been studying a bit more in acting, and Larry Moss is probably one of the best acting coaches alive right now, and his big thing is theater. Like, go back, do theater, because that's where you really put your acting to the test. So growing up and having that background is something that I feel has really shaped me in my career and allowed me to be comfortable in portraying characters.
Yeah, also doing commercials, which is a whole different kind of moment.
Yeah, I grew up doing commercials as well. I remember booking my first big one, which was probably like Reese's cereal, which was so great because I was like, I get to eat bowls of cereal all day.
Reese's,
I was in it. I was into it. So yeah. It was fun. And theme parks, did a lot of theme park commercials, which was great. I was basically in like a kid's heaven.
Yeah. Things are successful for you, but there's been a lot of conversation about kids who go and try out after thing after thing after thing and are told no, no, no. There are lessons to be learned there. We know the things that you were successful in, but did you also learn lessons from things that you didn't get?
Of course. It still happens.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since I was young, I always told myself that the next thing that comes along will be bigger and better, and that there is a master plan for me, and I just have to be open and willing to let it just happen.
Yeah. We know there are oftentimes some bad boys and bad girls in Hollywood. The business kind of lends itself to that. You seem to be so balanced. Where does that come from?
I ground myself. I do it constantly. I take care of myself. I take care of my growth. I work hard, and I think it's just about taking care of you.
And good family foundation.
Yeah, but most importantly, you taking care of yourself.
Yeah, taking responsibility for yourself.
Exactly.
All right, so High School Musical comes along, and this is one of those things that comes along every now and then. And of course, the sequel was the highest rated Disney Channel movie of all time. That propelled you to a whole nother level, and kids around the world knew who you were.
I know, it was crazy.
When you're looking at that, what are you thinking? Because that was how long ago now?
That was 9 years ago.
9 years ago?
Almost a decade.
Yeah. Does it seem like it was just yesterday?
No.
No. You've done so much more stuff since then.
A long time ago. It seems like a different life.
Yeah, but you still have these kids who are kind of growing up alongside you and growing up looking up to you.
Yeah, no, it's sweet. I mean, I grew up watching musicals, so the fact that we got to reintroduce that to them, it's amazing. I feel like I got to give to them what others have given to me, just passing it along.
And you also kind of have that triple threat. You can dance, you can act, and you can sing.
Yes.
Is there any one of them that gives you more joy, or is it all?
Acting's always been my primary passion, and I think it shows with the work that I've done. I've mostly been focused in films and just kind of building that aspect. But I mean, it's all fun. I love dancing still. I love singing still. It's just there's a right time and place for everything.
Yeah, yeah. And you talk about some of the other movies, Band Slam, Journey to the Mysterious Island, Beastly, Sucker Punch, Spring Breakers, co-starring Selena Gomez. So all of that brings you a certain amount of fame, and then now you're on, magazine covers. Every time I'm in the grocery store, I'll look over and I'll see you in the magazine covers oftentimes. What's it like to be standing in a regular grocery store, being a regular girl, and all of a sudden you kind of glance over and there you are?
Well, it depends. If it's a trash mag, it's like, don't look.
Yeah.
But if it's an actual magazine that you shop for, then it's like, oh, yay! It
okay,
depends.
so you stand there and you kind of go, psst, look, that's me.
No. But I do cover up all the other magazines with the magazine I'm on. So.
Yeah, put them all up the front right there.
Yeah.
You have really stretched yourself, and you said you're always into transformation, and you don't want to do the same thing over and over again. So many child actors get pigeonholed. I think like Miley Cyrus, when she started acting like an adult, people went, wait a minute. We know you as this little Hannah Montana girl. But you're stretching yourself in other ways. And so we're going to take a break. But when we come back, I want to take a look at and talk about this movie that you're doing right now. That's amazing, and I think probably challenged you in many ways. But it's an amazing movie and a departure from her past characters. In fact, it's even hard to recognize her in this gritty, edgy role that brings to light a real-life story of despair, triumph, and forgiveness.
When I was 8, I was taken away from my mother when she was arrested for drugs. By the time I was 12, I was in my 10th foster home. And all that time, that letter was the only thing I ever got from you, Dad. I need a place to stay for a little bit.
It's clear that you are not ready to assume the responsibility of motherhood.
A scene from Vanessa Hudgens' new movie, Gimme Shelter. This is probably, I'm going to guess and say, probably the role that probably has stretched you the most.
For sure.
Yeah, and for all kinds of reasons. And it's based on a true story, which I think also puts extra pressure on an actor to do it justice.
I mean, you could look at it that way, but I feel like that is just too much anxiety. So I just kind of turn it around and say, I think that it's really beautiful because then it gives the audience member an extra way to really connect with this story.
Great point.
And it gives me a way to connect to the story. I didn't have to build the character from scratch. It was already there. I just had to sink into it.
Plus the topic itself you want to do justice because you realize that although it's based on one person's story, it is so many people's stories.
It's very universal.
I do a lot of work in shelters. You actually spent some time in the shelters and you realize that oftentimes these people are out of sight, out of mind. But by bringing the story to light, how therapeutic do you think that it was for you, and how it would be for other people?
Oh, man. I mean, it really just kind of came to me at a time in my life where that's what I needed. I was going through a metamorphosis myself, and that's what this character goes through. She starts off as this really low, homeless, broken down little girl, and she turns into a wonderful, shining, bright young mother. And it was just fearless. The story is very fearless. As you said, it touches so many different topics, and the fact that the director and writer Ron was willing to make this story happen, I knew that I could trust him because he was already coming into it from such a fearless stand. Yeah,
you said something earlier about like what keeps you balanced is that you have to take care of yourself. And so many messages in this movie, and one of them is that oftentimes people who are in this crisis mode, homeless and pregnant and the whole bit.
Kind of that pigeonhole thing.
They feel like they're the weakest. But really the strongest person in their life is them if they can stand up and take care of themselves. And that's how we see this character kind of grow. Okay, I want to touch on, you said you were going through a metamorphosis at the time as well. What was your personal metamorphosis that you're going through?
Finding myself, finding my spirituality. I was going through I think I was going through a breakup at the time. So just really coming into my own as my own individual and human being, finding my place in the world and just kind of seeing what fits on me.
Yeah, and you know, of course, being somebody who's a celebrity, any crisis you're going through is under a microscope, you know, and you know,
I'm pretty good at keeping things under wraps.
Yeah, you are
pretty good at it.
And not bringing the drama along with it and keeping it quiet.
because that's not what it's about.
Yeah. All right, back to this movie. To prepare for the role, one of the things you did was spend time in the shelters. Any surprises that you saw there, or did you always connect with people who were going through this type of situation?
I feel like I've always really been able to connect with people in general, and because it was their story, I did have that responsibility. I did, but I knew that if I took their stories under my wings and really put it into my heart, that I could become a voice for these young women. Yeah. So they really just let me into their lives and were super welcoming to me. And even though they didn't have much, they still had this radiance about them. And I think that it's from the sisterhood that they found in each other at the shelters, which just made it that much more powerful being there.
Yeah. You know, a lot of us will hear about those stories, but we don't sit arm to arm or hug or talk to a lot of folks in these shelters. And so that's another thing I love about the movie, because it brings it front and center for so many people. What challenges did you go through in trying to do this role?
Man, you know,
I mean, even just changing your whole physical look.
Yeah.
You gained weight, you cut your hair.
Yeah. That part, it's so interesting because the process of doing the work was fun, and it was really exhilarating, and cutting my hair was extremely liberating because I knew I was doing it for a character that I was passionate about, a story that I was passionate about. And Ron, my director, was there every single step of the way with me, just kind of pushing me in the right direction. So it was fun, even though it was traumatic and hard and dark. It was fun. That's like what an actor lives for, this stuff. But it's the aftermath. It's when I got home after filming the movie that I looked at myself in the mirror and still saw my character. I didn't see Vanessa. I didn't feel like Vanessa. I was completely lost as a person because I'd been in a character for so long and just so fully submersed into it. So it took a while to rehabilitate myself.
And come out of that role. If anybody's been in a movie before, they realize that things are shot in pieces, and it goes for quite some time. And then when it's finally all edited and put together, what was it like to see it up on screen for the first time in its entirety? Because when you're shooting a scene, you're really not watching yourself.
I mean, it's really interesting. I think especially because it's been a while since I filmed the movie, and I've been so far away from it. I haven't been editing it. I haven't been there every single step of the way, that I actually could watch it as an audience member. I wasn't looking at the screen and seeing myself. I was just able to see a character. So it was really enjoyable, honestly, and surprising. It's a trip. I don't know. Because I know that's me, but it doesn't seem like me.
And that's the key right there. You know it's you, but it doesn't seem like you. You did a fantastic job of telling that story. And again, as somebody who does a lot of volunteer work in shelters, I thank you for bringing that story to life. Gimme Shelter opens on January 24th, and we have more information on our website on greatdayhouston.com. However, before we go, I cannot go without... Look at these fingernails up close. Okay, this takes the issue of fingernail art all the way to the... Oh, my God, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Got some 2014, got some... There's a whole lot going on.
You got a whole lot of stuff going on there. What's next for you?
Today I'm going to Washington, D.C., which is exciting. I'm just going to continue to take this movie around, so hopefully the fans can go and see it. And then relax a little bit. We got the Globes coming out, do a little glamour parties, and then just relax, enjoy the summer when it comes.
Next time I'm in the grocery store, I'm going to pick up the magazine. I'll place them all. I'll cover up all the other ones, right? And then I'll go, I know her. I know her. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Well, as we all know, technology moves fast. The high-tech gift you got for Christmas, that was so yesterday. We're going live to the Consumer and Electronics Show in Vegas to check out the gadgets of tomorrow and beyond, including that car that